All right. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy Sunday. Apologies for being a few minutes late, trying to work out some technical stuff in the background. Happy Sunday. Good morning. Good afternoon. All the things. I hope everybody is doing well. It is a beautiful, sunshiny Sunday here. So that's a good thing. Y'all know I love the sunshiny day. So that's beautiful. I have some members of the Soul Collective here. Today I'm doing a film screening. I said that completely backward. Film screening later on this afternoon, and so some folks came up to attend that. We had dinner last night. A couple of folks were able to come over to the house, and um, so we've been having a good weekend so far. All right. Let me say good morning. Good morning, Lorraine. Congratulations. Got a great grand nephew. Congratulations. Hi, Effie Gaskin. WLJ. I'm glad it's a beautiful sunny day. At WLJ, if you want to, I am going to be speaking to some Soul Collective community members online. So if you would like to join us online, there's a post in the community. Please come on over if you'd like to. Happy Sunday, Sandra. Donna, I know you're in the backstage. Rosalind, you too, if you'd like to join, come on over. Good morning. Hello, Linda K. Catrice, I know you aren't feeling good, so I ain't gonna press you. Um, all right, so let me do my intro. I got some folks in the backstage. And that sounds real professional, right? Like I got a backstage. They at their space, just they're in the backstage in this tour. It's not like we got a whole stage. So let me not pretend like we're doing a whole bunch of production over here. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Thank you for being here. As I introduce myself, I share that first, my name is Jewel. I built a tiny house in 2015 because I want to live in no freedom. And it's a fancy tiny house because I don't believe you have to give up luxury to go tiny. I am a lifestyle architect and strategist and a longtime advocate for intentional living, for representation in the tiny house movement, all the things. And after living tiny for over a decade, I use my experience and my expertise to help others create intentional, self defined lives through home design, through downsizing, and community. And if you'd like to connect with me, you will find links to do so in the video description below. Um, for y'all in the future, I would look forward to connecting with you all. That information is in the video description. I always share that it's not just about the tiny house, it's about exiting hustle, it's about designing home, it's about living intentionally in liberation. So let's get into today's session. Um, we are the title of today's session is I did some work here. So let me do my the title is You Weren't Meant to Do This Alone, The Power of Community. And I've been harping on community for some time now as we've talked about respectability politics, the weight that we're carrying, especially as Black women, the weight that we're carrying right now, all the things, and the benefit of community, especially as we see everything playing out in society. Community is necessary. I've been saying for a while, find your people. And when we talk about community, especially for Black folks, this isn't a new conversation. Community isn't a trend. This isn't something that we aren't used to or now just discovering. We've always built community. When we talk about places like Greenwood District, y'all, I'm a little tired, so y'all have to work with me. Black Wall Street, you always see my sign behind my head, where Black folks built businesses, they created stability for themselves, they supported each other, money circulated through the community, they took care of each other. And it wasn't just Tulsa, it was communities all over the country, like Rosewood in Florida. Self sustaining communities, supportive communities, intentional communities. And then when you think about it and you know your history and what happened there, the communities were destroyed. There's a community I always, if you're familiar with Lake Lanier in Georgia, there was a thriving Black community where Lake Lanier is right now, and it was flooded so that it could become Lake Lanier. And Lake Lanier stays snatching souls. There's always a lot of um, trauma experience with folks enjoying, frolicking on Lake Lanier. And through whatever you want to call it, it was a community that was destroyed, and there's energy there. The thing about the communities that were burned, that were destroyed, that were displaced, there's Central Park in New York. There was a thriving Black community as well, that and they were displaced. It didn't happen because those communities weren't working. It happened because they were. There was a lot of support. People were thriving, financially doing very well. And that's important to call out, because when we talk about community today, we're not talking about something extra. We're talking about something that's always been necessary. And we've been able to thrive. Like, even if we go back before these communities, the way people survived during enslavement was because they were in community and they looked out for each other. And so that is what we're talking about. This, and it's necessary. Community is necessary. What has changed for so many of us right now is that we've been pushed into um, individuality. That's something that's really focused on right now. Doing life by yourself, carrying more on your own, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, trying to maintain stability by ourselves. And for many people, for a lot of people, that's not working. For Black women, where we're carrying all of the load, and or maybe we've been burned by community and friendships and those types of things, and so then we go and just decide that we're going to do it on our own, and we recognize that's hard, that's a lot, it's heavy. And so today's conversation is really about coming back to something that we've always known, asking ourselves what it looks like to actually be in community now. And I have some guests that are waiting from the Soul Collective community. Yesterday was 3 months of us being on a new platform, and I wanted to kind of do a check-in and have folks share some thoughts, experiences about being in community. The new platform that we're on, we moved over from Patreon. For me, the move was important because in Patreon, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for um, group conversation or conversation between the members of the community. It always felt like it was me talking at the community, and they could respond to me, but it didn't offer collaboration. And I wanted the opportunity to really have community, so I didn't have to be the center, that people could connect and be more personal. And so we gather throughout the month, and there's conversation throughout the community. And so I've asked them at this 3 month mark to join me here on in conversation. And so I'm going to add folks to the stage. So I'm start adding folks. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning.
Good morning, Donna, Keisha, Evelyn, Natasha. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all. And I have to share that this was a last minute ask that went out. So I really appreciate my folks joining this morning, because I did not plan properly. We were out late last night, and I had the idea in my head, but I wasn't exactly sure how to facilitate it. And so then it occurred to me late last night that I could do it and have folks join me on camera. So I appreciate you all for being here. Um, Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. So y'all know I have some questions. Natasha is out walking around doing all the things, and she joined. Good morning, Natasha. Thank you so much. That's some commitment. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I'm going to open up with questions and then just let you all jump in to answer as you feel comfortable answering. You all know how we do. Answer as much or as little as you'd like. So my first question is around before you joined the space, what did community actually look like in your life before joining the Soul Collective? If you had community, what did that look like?
Jewel, could you alert people that I'm not hiding? I
Oh
can't
yes,
make my
yes.
camera work.
They hear you, Evelyn. So Evelyn, that's the technical difficulties. We were trying to work on getting Evelyn's camera together and it would not work. So she is here, but not on screen. So uh thank you, darling. And they can hear you.
And well, I'll just jump in. My situation, I think, is a slightly unique because I live in Vermont, and I'm as close to the Canadian border as I am to the Massachusetts border. And Vermont is statistically is the significance of people of color, especially African Americans, is so statistically insignificant that it's hard to even measure it
Mm.
statistically. So I found more and more, especially after I stopped working and traveling for my job, that to see people who look like me was very hard, even if I go all around town, unless I look in the mirror. So it was getting harder and harder. And I lucked up on Jewel because of the tiny house. And then I realized she was not just a tiny house lady. So I connected to this community, and it has been incredible because normally people can see my face when we do a small group meeting, and I can see their faces. And it's the equivalent of what I do with my family, my brothers and sisters. We do, what is it, FaceTime?
Mm-hmm.
So we can see each other, feel each other, et cetera, et cetera. And I found when I joined Soul Collective, especially the small group, it has that feeling.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share before I move to my next question? No pressure. Y'all know how I do.
Community for me, and good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Um, Community for me here with the Soul Collective has been a bit more personalized than some of the other communities that I'm a part of. Um, and that has made a big difference for me because it's helped me to verbalize the things I've been thinking about. And in verbalizing those things, it's also helping me recognize some of those um, limiting beliefs, the excuses, the stories that been dwelling in my head behind why I didn't take action on different things. And the not only do we have the small group sessions, but we also have the one-on-ones with Jewel. And so that's been really helpful for me because I need to take action very soon on some things. And Jewel really helped me to recognize those excuses and um, start really building an actionable plan, a plan I can really do, I can put in place. And so I'm working on it more now in a more tangible way, a more realistic way. And so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Um, my next question. So, what made you say yes to being in the space, especially if you were unsure before? Because, like I mentioned before, oftentimes, we've been a little burned around community. We've gotten to the point where we feel like we can't be in a trusting space. And if you're kind of antisocial like me, you'd be looking at a group like, I don't know about that. So what made you say yes to being in the space? If you were unsure before.
Okay, I'll answer that one, Jill, if I could.
Absolutely.
Um, this group has allowed me to be able to just show up. Last night I got your message this morning that we were going to have this group today. And I just felt like There was no pressure. And I was surprised at myself to know that I could just show up. I didn't have to worry about anything. I just said, well, I know that some of the ladies are going to be there and they're all welcoming. Jewel is a blessing to have us here today. And I just said it was no pressure. I was just glad to be a part of the community.
Thank you. And just like I said, as I say to them, talk, share as much as you feel like it, or not at all. Like it, I don't want to be in community. You shouldn't feel pressure. You should be able to show up as yourself authentically, whether you feel like sharing or not sharing. If you want to observe from afar, if you want to participate, that you should be able to show up as you are every single time. So thank you for saying that, Diane. Was there? Oh, sorry, Keisha, go ahead.
I was just gonna
Oh,
add that is
wait. I want y'all to see Keisha's fur. Do y'all see Keisha in the fur? Keisha shows up in the fur. Okay, thank you. I've gotten us off track. Go ahead.
okay. So there's a story behind this fur, but also as an alternative lifestyle, as a person of color in an alternative lifestyle housing space, it's challenging at times to connect with people. It's not that we don't exist, but connecting with people who are having like honest conversations about our experience and also how we navigate that. So that's one of the things I love about the collective is we're not like sugarcoating. Jules not like pretending like these challenges don't exist for us. And she's also not just like amplifying it constantly to the point where it's like, well, what, scaring the mess out of us. Like, it's like, okay, no, this is the reality. And then this is how we navigate it. And some really intense, like you've shared some really intense moments with us, being out on the farm and having the guys come out in the big trucks and, really emotional. And so we can kind of experience that without experiencing it and then knowing how to address it. So especially as a van lifer, like I can relate to that and understanding how I need to move in the world and protect myself. And so I really appreciate being a part of the community and us having those honest conversations.
And one thing I would add is, as I noticed over time, there's a large age group in our group, in the collective. And the more I saw that, the more I felt in a very warm way that I also want people like Keisha and her cohort and younger to always have someone in my age group, and I'm 67, that they can talk to, because they probably, a lot of them, they're not around their mother, their grandmother, or their aunties. So while I'm here to be filling my own cup, I also want to make sure I'm helping them keep their cup full.
Thank
I
you.
love that. Thank you. Has there been anything that has surprised you as part of the community? And folks that are in the Soul Collective that are in the chat that aren't on screen, if you feel like posting something in the chat, feel free to do that and I'll share that. Donna, I see you. Yeah.
What surprised me is I usually feel very out of place in groups of Black women, and always have my entire life. I'm probably on the spectrum, but they'll never diagnose me because I'm an adult and they told me they don't do that. But I feel like this is a place where I see myself.
I love that.
And many of us here. And so that for me was very unexpected. I usually expect to feel out of place. Even though I'm a Black woman, y'all Black women, many times I just don't feel like I belong. And so that really surprised me. The like-mindedness here. It's not just about appearance. That is part of it. Many of us are wearing our hair in natural styles. That's something that I have not found in a lot of Black women groups. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying that I've noticed that I stand out for wearing my gray hair and wearing my natural hair, and not doing a whole bunch with glam. I could, but I don't. And so that is that was really surprising to me. And also helped me, I still always feel different than other people. That's just who I am. But I've been very surprised to feel like this is a place where I do fit in more than I fit in any other groups that I've been in. And thank you, Jewel.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Diane.
Oh, no, I didn't have anything
Oh,
to
okay.
share.
Sorry. I didn't want to put you on the spot. So
Thank you.
I was looking for my card. I'm gonna have to find my card. Go ahead, because I was trying to quote something. Y'all keep talking. I'm getting ready to find my card. Oh, here it is right here.
One thing that surprised me is how excited I get when someone's traveling. Where's our traveling buddy is not here. She's probably backstage and we can't see her.
Geraldine.
Yeah. Just listening to the traveling stories and how whenever she's talking about that, I feel I'm traveling with this sister and I didn't even have to pack a suitcase.
Yes. Yes. So I was looking for this card. So Natalie, who is in the community, is in town for the film screening, and she gave me a card. And I'm not going to read all her business, but I want to this sentence when I said, "What has surprised you?" And she says, "I know I've said it before, but I really thought I was joining a tiny house on wheels group to learn more about going tiny, and had put off joining the Patreon group for months. I was and still am pleasantly surprised that the Soul Collective is so much more than that, about going tiny in the sense of tiny homes. It's about shrinking our lives to, it's about not shrinking our lives to fit us and not, it's about shrinking our lives to fit us and not the other way around." I don't think I read that correctly. But I think I hear that a lot, that people aren't interested in just being in a tiny house, a group about tiny houses. And that's not what we do. It is a component of it, obviously, because that's what I talk about. That's what I do. But I've also shared that tiny houses are a through line. It is the thing that has opened so much of a different conversation. And I always say it's not just about the structure. It is so much about the opportunity as you consider downsizing, simplicity, lessening your things. And that I always say that's people, places, and things. So it represents a concept, and it's not just about the structure. And so I wanted to share that. Geraldine is in Italy. Thank you, Geraldine, for letting us know, ma'am. We appreciate you. Okay, thank you, Natasha. Good to see you on screen. Okay, let me see another question. Was there anything that had to shift for you to be in community and to be able to receive support? Was there any, as you got into community, were there any shifts you had to make?
I think
Go ahead, Natasha. I think. Yeah. You're also not in accommodating.
I guess we go in that. My mindset had to shift from being in the military to government and always having to watch my back and not trusting. And coming into the Soul Collective, I can honestly say that I've met my band of sisters in the battle. And I think that we're in a real battle, not so not to say that war is not, but I mean the trust there. So my mindset had to shift from not trusting at all and holding that weight or holding myself together to be knowing that I have a band of community and sisters that have my message.
Thank you. Thank you. And that what Natasha was sharing, that's a lot of why people resist community. Like we have the cultural conditioning, especially for Black women, to be independent, to be strong, to be over functioning. But there's a cost to doing everything alone. And we've been talking about that for some time now. And as Natasha said, to be in community, to be open and to be receptive, it does require a certain amount of vulnerability. It also requires you to be willing to do the hard work and to be in and to be willing to be in conversation and just to be in open. And my hope and my ask is that um, even that if that's not how you normally present, I feel like once you're in community and recognize that that is the spirit of the community, that's when you start to have that shift, even if it's not exactly how you came in and joined. Um,
And
oh,
just one other thing, or maybe it's totally different, is making sure I made it a priority to meet the group.
mhm,
Because and to do that, I had to make sure other people know that if you're calling me Sunday at noon, you probably aren't going to get me because I just turned my phone off. And so this is as important as church. And also trying to schedule my, when we have the book club, unless it's something that people really can't move. I did agree to it months ago. Don't schedule it over book club because I will not be there. So helping people understand the importance of this community to me is just as important as what they're thinking about, because if you don't make that clear, you can't participate in a community because people are always scheduling over it.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah, the
mhm.
commitment here, not just to being in community with each other, but also to actually taking action. I don't like being around people that just want to moan and groan and complain all the time. And that is not what's here. We share our stories, we share, but you can see people actually taking action, taking the steps forward. We may not all be in our alternative dwellings, whether they be in a van or in a tiny home or something else, but everybody here is sharing how they're taking steps forward, and it's a different type of way to commune together. We're not just sharing sob stories and being mad at the man and all of that. We are actually doing what we got to do to take care of ourselves and looking out for each other. And that's a huge difference from other supportive groups that I've been in.
Thank you. Was there a specific moment, and I think this is kind of along the same line, was there a specific moment for you where you realized this community was different? And maybe what was that moment?
I'm laughing because Coach mentioned earlier that this group of women who I don't feel out of place with, that my tiny house living dreams or van life or ADU doesn't feel odd. Like just having that experience where I felt accepted and not like ostracized, and jokes about being homeless, like, or like, why you want to live in this little house, that kind of stuff. Like that moment, almost instantly, I feel like, oh, okay, like my nervous system, I can relax. I don't have to worry about what I say about my future dreams in this space. I can just dream out loud and kind of be myself. So I didn't have, like, for me, it was almost instant. Like, I was just like instantly like, okay, these are my people and I feel safe here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what I also like, it's okay not to be okay.
Mm,
We
mm,
don't have to be okay every day. We show up as we are. People, even when we're just online, commenting online, you can read where people are by what they're typing in. And it's okay if we're not okay. But usually I find whatever mood I enter the group in, when I leave, I'm in a better place.
Yes.
thank you. Um, what has being in community changed for you? Like, or has it changed anything for you in the way you think, the way you move, the way you make decisions? Have there been any changes? Morning, WJ.
Morning.
have there been any change? And so I'm gonna repeat the question, and if there are no comments, then I'll ask another question. So my question was, what has being in community changed for you in how you think and how you move, how you make decisions?
I would like to say it has allowed me to realize that I had to learn to trust other women, Black women, and just know that I'm okay. I'm okay even if I don't feel comfortable today. I'll work at it, and then I take little steps to get to the point where I'm able to open up and feel trusted and able to show up in a way that I may have been more to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thank the group because they're always just so open. When you show up, you don't have to do anything, but just show up. Even if you don't want to say anything, when you leave, you feel a whole lot better. You can't wait till the next time you guys are going to get it together again. And I just think that's something that I didn't anticipate feeling this, but it just happened gradually. And then I started to realize that I don't need to do anything alone. I never been in a group I never been in a community. I'm 63 years old. I never been in a community with any group of people. I had my sisters, 4 sisters, and I have a close friend. And I've only had one friend at a time over 63 years. Never a group of friends, just one friend at a time. And it's only been 3 of those. So this has all been new.
It's been new.
And I thank you all.
That's
also just knowing and just verifying to myself, I'm not crazy. Because if I'm crazy, there are tons of people in this group and in our open group, not just the Soul Collective, not just the small group, but at the one day that I told you we're going to have to close the hotel because we're running out of space. Well, if I'm crazy, there were 125 people crazy that day.
That's funny.
Yes.
Thank you. Geraldine, I just shared something Geraldine said. Geraldine said, stop looking for approval from others and do you, and acceptance might come, but if it doesn't, it's okay. Oh no, this is the one Geraldine, she's also in the community, but she's in Italy. She says the community is about uplifting each other, it's support and encouragement. Are there some ways that you have felt supported in the community that you really weren't expecting? Diane.
Yes, okay, go ahead, Natalie. Okay, go ahead.
Natasha. Go ahead, Natasha.
Natasha, I'm sorry.
Okay.
For me, the collective was an answered prayer because I was stuck when I lost my grandmother, and she placed her legacy of medicine in my hands, and I always say this was a prayer answer, and I never saw it coming because I thought that I would have stuck it or probably wound up telling herself and just making all types of mistakes. And it's just good to know that, I'm covered spiritually as the collective, is part of that and linked to that. So the collective was totally unexpected for me. And since then, I've been intentional about what I do and how I move. And I'm so grateful for that.
Thank you. Diane, I'll get you WLJ. Diane, do you want to share?
Yes, I was just going to say last week I spent like 6 hours out in the yard with nervous energy just to show up for a little show and tell that took all of 2 minutes to show. But it took me 6 hours to burn up all of that energy just to show up. And I said, well, you're going to show up regardless. I don't care how long you stay out there. And I stayed out there till 10 minutes before I needed to show up. And I jumped on here, and I tell you, I didn't know what to do. And Jules said, "Why were you worried?" And I thought, I don't know. And then by the time it was over, I knew I had no reason to have all that nervous energy. If you guys would have saw me that day, you would have said she's gonna hurt herself, all because she has to show up for a little 2 minutes. And I said, and everybody was so welcoming. And I said, this is my group. This is my community. They did not care. And I showed up on that camera. I just jumped in there. I had to walk away and go make sure I wiped my face because I had all kinds of stuff on me. And I just wanted to show up. I just wanted to show up. And Jules said, "Oh, we're taping this week." I said, "Oh, Lord, not this week." But I showed up anyway, and I was so happy that I could just show up.
That is hilarious. So some background I will share. So last Saturday, so we get together, we have book club. We have Tiny House Tuesday, where it is really instruction around tiny houses. And we meet monthly in a soul collective conversation. And then we'll do other things, like you have access to events like the folks that are here today, access to events, and then one-on-ones, as I think Donna mentioned, that we do one-on-ones if folks want to have one-on-one conversations. And then there's also conversation that happens throughout the community, posts throughout the week, where we're connecting throughout the week. But last Saturday, we did something called Soul Food Saturday. And it was kind of like bringing a dish that, and we did it virtually. We were connected online. And it was like bringing a dish, bring a life hack, bring something that helps you get your life together, bring some tips, something that you can share with the group that the rest of us can benefit from. And I asked them to present it. And it was just like, it was food. It was food for the soul. There were some tips for discounts and shopping. It was some tips for how folks really keep themselves going and motivated. There were so many tips and things that it was Soul Food Saturday. And so that's what Diane is speaking to. And you could share your screen, you could talk about it, whatever it was, whatever it felt like for you, then you could show up and talk about it. And that was, I don't always record our sessions because I want to honor vulnerability and allow people to show up and recognize that it's not being recorded for later on. This one I recorded because for folks who couldn't attend, I wanted them to be able to have some takeaways from the conversation. And there, and in soul food covered dish terminology, there were such great leftovers that we got to take away from that conversation and share. WLJ, you were going to say something.
I was just going to share my experience with the community and how I feel like it is an opportunity for me to get support. I feel like from all corners of the world, even if it's not literally, but it feels like it. When you don't have that kind of support centrally, and you can reach out to other people during the week just to say hi and to say what's on your mind as being part of the community. It's been very refreshing. And although I have been in other communities, this one is different. I will say this one is different. And it feels good because it is good for the soul. So I appreciate everybody's presence, their participation, their willingness to share and connect with one another. I do enjoy being a part of the group.
And Wanda, I have been in some other groups that I eventually had to say, it's been nice knowing y'all. I'm going to move on.
I know, I have too. and you're just like, deuces, I'm out.
And I agree. Every community ain't for everybody. I don't expect that folks, that this community might not be for everybody. And that I do offer. It's a 21-day trial period, because I don't want you stuck in the community if you don't feel like you want to be here. I don't want that energy in the community. So you get 21 days to try it out. And if it's not a fit for you, there is no love lost. I want you to go find your community, and that's the opportunity there.
Every
I'm sorry, go ahead.
everyone here is so unique. Every single individual person, Jewel included, everyone here is so unique. And that's so refreshing to me. I don't like being around people who are carbon copies of each other all the time. And that's something that has been extremely um, encouraging for me, because I know I'm different. And being around other women that are different is great. Now, does that mean that we're all, each one of us, best of friends? No. But we give each other the room to be ourselves. And several people here are making connections with each other and call each other and meet up in person and everything. And you get what you get, and you're happy with that. And that's where I'm at. I'm grateful for the connections I'm making, and I'm grateful for the collective connection. And I don't have to be up in everybody's business all the time to feel that connection, but we share as we feel. Somebody in the comments was talking about how they have had some struggles sharing. You don't have to share everything with everybody all the time. Sometimes you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. But sometimes there are certain things that you can share, and then that helps you see what you're thinking. You know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
helps you to see what you're thinking, and where you might be able to learn some things and make some adjustments that can benefit you, that can help you. We learn from each other, and that collective learning, it it accelerates your path forward. It gives you greater momentum when you're with like-minded people who have the same goal of moving forward. So thank you for letting me share that. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, what makes being in community sometimes hard, even when you know you need it?
I guess what I am, and maybe I'm oversensitive to it. My rule in dealing with people, working with people, being around people, the general rule is do no harm.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes if I come into the group and I know I'm not at my best, I'm thinking, if I open my mouth, am I going to do harm? What's good about this group is no, you're not. First of all, you're not going to say something so crazy that you get kicked out of the church. But it's just wanting to, and I probably another way. Sometimes I need to just talk and not worry that I'm going to do harm, because the likelihood that I'm going to do harm are probably far less than I think. Okay. So just stop judging myself the same way I judged myself when I was working.
Mm-hmm.
So letting go of all of that, just relax and be here.
Mm-hmm. I kind of to Diane's point, and with each of our conversations, I started with, it's up to you to show up how you feel. Camera on, camera off. You can participate. You don't have to participate. Share as much as you want. Share as little as you want. We are able to support each other. You are able to, there's enough in, just to Evelyn's point, there's enough out in the world that works against us as people, as Black people, as Black women. There is enough out in the world that we have to navigate that is hard, that the last space that should be hard is in a community. You shouldn't be expected to come on and perform and jump through hoops and not be able to be vulnerable, not be able to show up and say, I am struggling today. That's not the space that I want for us. Because as we look at what's happening in the world today, and I say this frequently, our liberation is going to be collective. And if you aren't in a space where you feel like you're supported and where you can show up as your authentic self, whether that is I'm in a good space, I'm in a bad space, I'm struggling, I need whatever that is. If you're not in a space where you can show up wholly like that, then you're not going to get to your liberation. You're going to always be performing. And I have had to perform enough in corporate spaces, in spaces where I didn't fit in, where the folks who didn't understand me, didn't understand my walk in life. And I don't want to do that in a space where I'm trying to grow. And I don't want that for community at all. Yes. Diane, were you getting ready to say something, or were you just agreeing? I want to throw you
I
on.
was just agreeing.
WLJ, I think I saw your hand.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just the opportunity and sometimes being vulnerable, because you want to share some of the things that you're experiencing, but you don't want to share too much. But sometimes it requires you to share more than maybe what you anticipated in order to be able to fully express what you need to express. So, but it is getting to that space where you feel comfortable and in being vulnerable, because you do have to learn to be vulnerable in spaces sometimes. And this is a safe space. That's what I can say. It is a safe space. And I certainly appreciate that, because I have allowed myself to be vulnerable at moments, and I know others have as well. So I do definitely feel that it is a safe space for me to be exactly that, vulnerable.
Thank you for sharing that. And there's also, to Donna's point earlier, and I know Donna was heading out to go to church. Thank you, Donna, for joining. To Donna's point earlier, it's not a space of just moaning and groaning. There's some accountability. Like, you can show up and you can be in a bad space and you can need some help, but there's also some accountability that you are doing the work to help yourself get through that. Community is going to support you, but you also have to show up and do the work. And so there is some accountability. And then it's not just go off and fix it. It is, we're here to support you. And that's important as well. I don't think I asked this question before. If I did, just tell me I did. What has this changed for you? Or has it changed anything for you? Did I ask that already? I don't think I did.
If you did, I have a different answer now.
Okay, go ahead.
I strongly, far, far more committed to myself now. To make my life a journey and not a destination. Even the simple things I do, because I did work for so long. You finishing a project, finishing this, finishing that, getting to this point. And so what you don't realize, you start living your whole life that way. It's a destination to get to yoga. Well, why bother? So now I watch myself every day. If I'm just walking up the steps, make it a part of your living, your life, not to just get there. So my whole life, I think, is now focused on enjoying the getting there and not just making it a destination, something I must do. I don't want, other than staying alive, I don't need any more must-dos.
Yeah. Thank you for answering that. I don't know, before I move to the next, was there anything anybody else wanted to add to that?
Oh, Jewel, your quote, if not now, when? I have to play that over and over. If not now, when? When are you going to do it? So I thought that was a good one also. In people, places, and things. Everybody can't go.
Everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. All the things can't go, and you don't need to go to all of the places. So it is applicable across the board. And if not now, then when? We're oftentimes we're putting stuff off to do later, or we've got a dream that we can't seem to dive into, something we want to explore, and we don't feel comfortable exploring it. You get one life, and there is no, you don't know the expiration date. If you, even if it is like to Evelyn's point, just taking care of yourself, just sitting down, taking a nap. If you're not going to allow yourself the opportunity to do those things, to take care of you, if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? So if not now, when? Help me with how does being in community impact how you're thinking about your life, your home, your next steps?
For me, it is ordering my steps and putting me first. Um, that has been the biggest takeaway from being in the Soul Collective. And again, as always, and I'll keep mentioning it, how just grateful I am. But now, in moving differently, I'm always putting myself first. Whereas all before, it was about people pleasing to an extent, and that's with coworkers, associates, friends, and family. And I notice how I move now, even with family. As a couple of weeks ago, I had an issue with my brother when it came to my grandmother's property, and I dug in and I stood up. And after that meeting, I felt so enlightened and proud because maybe a year ago I wouldn't have. Yep, I would not have done that. So, and I like you have taught me, people, places, and things. I meant what I said. I said what I said, and that's it. That's all. So, yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I shared this story, and Natasha shared it a bit earlier, but I don't know that everybody can hear it. So I love to share her story, because the first time she came to one of our community conversations, she was stressed out. She was stressed out. And she had been left some property by her grandmother that's in South Carolina. The property has motels on it, and she was stressed out because it had been left to her, and she, um, the siblings weren't agreeing on what needed to be done, but it had been left to her now. But the siblings weren't agreeing on what needed to be done on it, and she was just gonna tear it all down. And I was like, "You can ready to do what with what?" There's a whole opportunity that you were sitting on if you already got land, and the land has hotels on it. 'Cause all I saw was tiny houses and opportunity. And so we had to slow her down. And I'm so glad she came to the community before she had got to bulldoze stuff. And so now Natasha has a whole different plan and trajectory. And she is working on creating community, and with the land she has been entrusted. There's a reason she's given that land, and so she has been entrusted with this, and I'm glad that she got where she needed to be so she could see a bigger vision for what we've been given. And she moves so differently right now. I joke all the time. She walks on her tiptoes now. She just frolicking around because she is in a different space. I am very happy for her. It is beautiful to watch this journey. We have a couple of people in the community that are building literal communities, and so that is a pleasure to watch. And so Keisha says, being in community has given her the foresight to prioritize real connection, not just what I can accomplish. Like connecting with community is worth building. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
And I don't have a tiny house, but the tiny house community has seriously impacted how I see my house and how I relate to my house. And it's definitely not a tiny house, but I see it in a different way. And I treat it in a different way. And I think even though those of us who are not in tiny house communities, and it's not just the structural things that the tiny house owners talk about, is how they relate to their home and how their home relate to them. So it has impacted my relationship with my house, and my house is not a tiny house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's important. And I like that you said that, Evelyn, because it is so true. When you start to look at things around, you start to realize, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. And it has helped me to be more organized in my thoughts. And instead of because a lot of times I will have so many thoughts going on at one time, but it's helped me to really hone down and center and focus on what it is that I want to do, need to do, and how to.
Thank you. Donna, I see your comment in the chat. I knew you had to go, but thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. One of the things that I've also shared, especially after having had a stroke and recognizing how I need to move now neurologically, and community has been so much more necessary. Being in spaces where there's reciprocity, being in spaces where people you're giving and people are giving into you. I don't want to be in one-way spaces. I don't want to be in spaces where I'm expected to pour into folks and they may or may not pour into me. I want to be in spaces where there's reciprocity and people, and it's not forced reciprocity. It is the nature of the people that are in the community, even if they're learning through it, but they recognize I'm being poured into. Let me also give back, and that's important. And that's really important for me in this new journey in this new space. So that's important. Geraldine is saying the less is liberation and freedom lessons from our book club readings. That's and we've had Christine Platt has joined us a couple of times to talk about her book. She's the Afro minimalist. So her book, Less is Liberation. We're reading that, and now we're reading. Well, the first book is The Guide to Living with Less, and then the new book is Less is Liberation. And so we're reading that in our book club. Okay, Natasha, thank you. Thank you for joining. Safe travels. We'll talk to you soon. So that is also important. Being able to be in a space where you're giving and also receiving. That's really important. I'm gonna be wrapping this up, so y'all don't worry. I'm gonna wrap it up. I know we can stay on all day chat, but I promise I'll wrap it up. For someone who's watching, who feels like they're doing life on their own right now, what would you want them to understand about being in community?
Jewel, do you remember what you told us about the cigarette smoking?
Mm-hmm.
You may want to tell them that about isolation and cigarettes. I think you can't get any closer to.
I saw a statistic that said being isolated, and so there's a difference in like loneliness and being alone. There's a difference there. but the statistics said being in isolation, like the loneliness where you're not thriving, was equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. That's crazy. So yeah, that for somebody who's doing life on their own right now and you're struggling, I would encourage you to keep that in mind. Mara, you're asking about the book club information. It's part of being in the Soul Collective. So you join the Soul Collective. Let me add that. You join the Soul Collective, and book club is one of the events that we have as part of the community. We also gather in person. So a lot of what we do is virtual, but we also gather in person. Last October, the last weekend in October last year, several of the folks came to Charlotte, and we had an event here at my house, and then we ate. Most of it sounds like we were eating. We did a lot of eating, but we eating and conversation. Keisha and her husband Noah, I bullied them into staying longer, so they were actually here for a few more days. We had a really good time. And then this weekend, again, as I shared, I'm doing the film screening this evening at a local theater, and 3 of the ladies have come into Charlotte to attend the film screening. We went to dinner last night, and so we do gather in person because that's also important. We not everything isn't all virtually. Journey with Lo, I see you. Unfortunately, I'm living in isolation. Come on over and join some community. We don't want you smoking 15 cigarettes a day unnecessarily. That's not healthy. Come join us. There is, I again say it, there's a 21-day. I don't want to sound like I feel like that transition was a sales pitch. I don't want it to sound like that. There is a 21-day trial if you want to try out the community. Come over and join us. Okay, this is my last question I'm going to ask. What would be harder right now if you didn't have community?
Getting me out of jail. I think this community helps me, even in my own house. And there are only 2 of us in the house. Even in my own house, it keeps me from probably saying something I should not have said. It's just my community is my community, which means it is not my community. So I think just keeping me in a place, if I lived closer to my sisters and brothers, they would help do that, but I don't. So I'm with you all at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, or just talking to each other online. And that helps because sometimes when I feel that anxiety and sometimes that anger building, I thought, you got a place to go. So just calm down and wait until you get to that place, because otherwise it would be jail.
We don't want you to go to jail, Evelyn. Keisha is saying, and I said I bullied them into staying. She said we were happy to stay, driving through mountains, and the van is a load, but for others thinking about joining the community, you don't have to have all the answers. The simplest, most impactful act is to join community. And she says community makes being hopeful easier. Thank you, Keisha. Anybody else? Anything else anybody want to share? Anything that might be harder for you right now if you didn't have community?
I think that's key, is that the realization that you are not alone, because a lot of times I think that I have experienced things and I thought I was the only one experiencing them. And being in community actually lets me know that this is not new to me. I'm not so unique that I'm the only one that's experienced this thing. So it's helpful to know that other people have either experienced the same or similar things, and they have worked through it in this way, or can give me advice and show me and give me encouragement that it's going to get better on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, Bless, I see your question. as to whether it's free to join the Soul Collective. So it's free for 21 days. There is a monthly fee after that, but there is and it's not like a contract or anything. You can leave when you feel like you need to leave. There is a monthly fee. It is free for 21 days for you to try the community out, to be sure it's something that you want to be part of. And then you can leave at any time should you decide even later on that it's not for you. Mara Mack is saying, because of this community, I finally sat down a moment to start my small candle company. Congratulations. Look at you. Go ahead. Yay. Congratulations. We love that. We love to celebrate something that somebody is doing well.
And the people who are live for the first time, YouTube is free. So just so they don't confuse the two.
Oh, right. The YouTube community. So we're here on I'm here on Sundays. And so I share in an effort to be transparent. Tiny houses, the through line, the tiny house. This is the work that is my passion. Any day I get to talk about tiny houses is a good day for me. And again, it's not just about the structure. It is about, it's not just about the structure. It's so much bigger than just the tiny house. I'm on the socials. I feel like I'm always given the free game as much as I possibly can, because I want to support folks that are interested in tiny houses. I want to support our community. We're not always represented in the tiny house conversation. And so I feel like that's part of my responsibility, my gift. There's a whole playlist here on YouTube of frequently asked questions where I've done taken some question about building, about buying your trailer, about your design, whatever questions, safety, winterization. There's a whole frequently asked question playlist where I've answered those questions so that you can get the free game. And then there's some spaces where it's got to be a cost, because I can't, as we were talking yesterday about something, is I can't call the electric company and say, I gave away some free game. Can you take that as payment? I got some bills I got to pay as well over here. So some stuff has to be at a cost, but it is always my hope that the value of it is seen. And so I'm hoping that you all understand that.
And it's definitely cheaper than therapy.
and cheaper than bail.
And bail.
Cheaper than bail. So Mark, you're asking, is the tiny house event tonight at 7 p.m. Central? It is 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it is in person. It is an event in Kannapolis, North Carolina, at a theater. We are actually going to a theater to watch a film screening. So it is an in-person event. I would love to have you, Key. I know you work a lot. Would love to have you. I think that's my last question. What would be harder right now if you didn't have community? I don't think I have any more questions that I didn't ask.
The grace that this community extends to one another, that's something that I need. And sometimes I don't give myself enough grace. So I think hearing that, especially Jill, you always make you extend that grace, and help us to remember not to be apologizing, and things. So yeah, the grace is great.
I also want to share, and I share it here on YouTube as I'm talking about something. It's also the work that I'm doing. It's not like, I'm not a minister or some stuff. I'm not a therapist. I'm not any of that. I just show up, and the stuff I'm working through, the stuff I've learned. I got a whole therapist. But it's about being in community, and it's about sharing, and it is about strengthening each other. And that is what happens. I'm not the group. It's a community that I started, but I'm not. This ain't Jim Jones and Purple Kool-Aid. We don't get down like that. So this is not that. I see somebody asking about a tiny community abroad. I've had some conversations around that. It is something absolutely would love to do. Just not at this particular moment. Okay, so somebody's asking, how can I attend the film screening tonight? I'm going to multitask and get the link for you and see how that works out. So just hold on. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rosalind. Anything else anybody wants to share while I try to multitask? Anybody have anything that maybe a question I didn't ask that is something that you want to speak to about the community?
I guess it's not a question, but it's something that I did that I thought was simple, and it turned out to be far more than simple. One day we were on YouTube, and my daughter was here. So I said, step around here and listen. And it was profound for her. And then I also talk about the Soul Collective and the YouTube Sunday to one of my younger sisters. And then we were logged in talking one day, and his name pops up with my last name. And I think Jewel recognized the last name was there. And I was talking about my sister at the time. And we were like, I think that's your sister.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I say, anytime we can, drop the community in someone else's mailbox, it is helpful, because you may think they aren't going to log in, but they may, and it will impact their lives.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I did a side 365. I did just drop the link to the screening in the chat. I think you were the one that said you joined the community, so I look forward to you participating in the community. Thank you for doing so. Donna, I think I see you raising your hand. Did you have something that you want to say?
Yeah, someone in the chat was saying, they work a lot. I work a lot too, but I plug in where I can, and I'm accepted when I get here. And that grace is there. Nobody's judging me. I don't feel judged for not being able to plug into every single thing that happens. I'm here when I can be here, and sometimes I change my schedule, which I did this weekend. I needed a spring break redo because I spent my whole spring break looking after somebody else. And so I decided to take off an extra day so that I can have a redo of my spring break. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so grateful to be able to meet these beautiful, awesome, intelligent, unique people in person. So I'm glad to be here.
And thank you, I'm glad you're here. I have been in community with Donna for some time now. It's been a while, and this was the first opportunity to meet in person. She's actually in the Charlotte area to attend the film screening. So, and the thing about it is that it is just the transition of the in-person. It's not like it's not catfishing where you've been this person online and on screen, and then I meet you in person, like, it's, what the hell, who are you? What you see, what is it that used to be WYSIWYG? Wasn't that the computers? What you see is what you get. And that's the part about showing up authentically. When we're in community, we're who we are, and we're those same people when we get to show up and be in community with each other.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. I would share that for the folks who have been in the chat that aren't part of the So everybody is part of the Soul Collective, the bigger community, but who aren't a part of the membership community, I guess is the best way to say it. For the folks who join us on Sundays, I would share that what you've seen here is what happens when people are in space with each other and not performing, not having to figure out stuff alone, but actually being able to be in conversation, to be supported, and to be able to hear themselves think a little differently. And that is what community is. And what we have also spoken about is the fact that in order to be in community and benefit from it and to enjoy community, you also have to be in open. You have to be willing to be vulnerable, and you have to be receptive and willing to do the work. Sometimes it's not always easy, as Diane told us about the 6 hours she spent in the garden to show up for the Soul Food Saturday. But the funny thing is, when she got to Soul Food Saturday, she shared how she had been uptight and had wound herself up. And as she sat down and joined community, she shared, I don't even know why I was so nervous. There was no reason to feel nervous. We show up as we are. And there's no pressure to perform, be something different, to be, again, we've all had to do that in our workspaces, in other spaces where you have to show up and be on all day long. And by the time you finish doing that, it is exhausting. You are worn out. The last thing I want is to create a space where people are paying for a membership, where they got to come in and show up and perform and then be exhausted. To me, that is just an effort in not being smart. Why would I pay up to pay to show up somewhere that is exhausting me? If you aren't showing up in this space and feeling good, being in the space, being encouraged, being in the space, feeling, as Evelyn said, feeling better when you leave than you might have felt when you initially showed up, then that space isn't working for you. Journey with Lo is asking, is it open to neurodivergent people? I don't have any discrimination. I just shared I got a whole brain injury from a stroke. I would imagine that also categorizes me as somewhat neurodivergent. There is no kind of social skills test that you have to take and pass before you show up. I don't know what people are working with. Most of the time, I ain't all the way not neurodivergent. So I just show up. If you haven't figured out on Sundays when I need folks to finish my sentences because I can't come up with a word, we show up as we are. There's no judgment. Show up as you are.
Neurodivergence just means that your brain is different. My brain feel different. Okay.
My brain is different. I refer to my brain as the new brain. I got a whole new brain. And I have had to learn to embrace it. And I love the new brain now. Like, we cool. This is a space I have said several times. Show up as you are authentically.
And if that person is concerned at all, when that person shows up, I'll make sure my OCD shows up, just as an example that everybody is okay here.
Yes.
Show up as you are. Show up as you are. So if you have been watching and something about this feels familiar or maybe even necessary, I do want to encourage you that you don't have to keep doing life on your own. I don't want this to sound like I'm getting ready to pass the collection plate, the doors of the church are open. That's not anything like that, even though I'm feeling like that's what this is leading to. If it ain't our community, I'm going to encourage you. I have been saying since before the shit started hitting the fan, that you need to find community. If it ain't in the Soul Collective, I want you to find your community somewhere. But I would be remiss if I didn't encourage you to join the Soul Collective. So I feel like I'm getting ready to pass the plate. Y'all just work with me. If you feel like you are carrying a lot right now on your own, if you are figuring things out in isolation as somebody shared, our space is a kind of space that helps you shift that. And I hope, if nothing else, this conversation showed you that being in the right place with the right people can change how you move. You saw my happy friend Natasha. And I tell you, that child is happy as he can be because she has a whole life's mission, because she realizes why her grandmother entrusted her with the gift that she entrusted her with. And she has, since we've been in community, she has retired. She is focused on her community. And I told y'all, she walks around on her tiptoes. And being in community with the right people in the right space will be life changing. Again, I Mara is saying pass the plate. I am not I am not doing that. But if you feel like it, because it kind of feel like me too, like Jim and Tammy Baker. It's like I might I might be doing something like that. That is not my intention at all. The Soul Collective is always open for you, and you do get to try it out. I ain't trying to take your money if you don't want to be there. I see your hand, Donna.
So one problem that sometimes neurodivergent people have, like me, I'm neurodivergent, transitions, making a change, transitioning into that change is so hard. But in community, you get the support you need to get over that hump. Trying to do that in isolation, I'd probably be stuck where I'm at forever, because I don't want to do this. I don't want to change, but I know I need to change so that my life can be better. And having this community, having Jules one-on-one support plus the community support, all of that together is helping me get over that. For me, you got those regular little speed bumps, you kind of go over them, and then you got those big old speed humps that'll send your car up in the air. For me, the transitions are like them big old humps, but the community helps to smooth that hump out for me.
And Donna would be getting stuck, and I would be counting and analyzing the time she got stuck. Because that's what OCD does, count and analyze.
Yes. Thank y'all for sharing that. All right, that's what I got for y'all today. I shared the link for anyone that is in the Charlotte area who would like to join the film screening. Would love to have you. It is at 7 p.m. in Kannapolis, North Carolina. We are watching a film screening. We'll be doing some Q&A. I have a sponsor, Advantual Credit Union will be there. They are, Marsha Barnes is repping them. They are a credit union that potentially offers financing for tiny homes. She'll be on site talking about that. I'm also going to have her on live with us at some point to talk about that, because the financing piece of it is very big. And so that's what we'll be doing this evening. What else do I have? That advocacy work. I have also been sharing the links about the advocacy work. If you haven't signed the petition, we're working on the legalization of tiny houses. We'll be going up to Connecticut around April 20th to work on that as well, because I also advocate for tiny houses. There's so much that tiny houses offer for our communities. And as far as housing solutions, as far as non-traditional wealth building, all of the things. And so that is something that I want us to have available to us. And so that is the work that I do as well. So thank y'all. Thank you to my folks for showing up. Thank you for allowing me to lean on y'all at last minute to show up and participate in this conversation. I so appreciate y'all. Hold on. Somebody talk.
Aw, just
Okay.
cried, Jewel.
Mhm.
Bye.
You.
Bye.
Don't forget to like, share,
And,
comment,
Thank you.
subscribe.
and you definitely need a couple of those water bottles because I'm telling you, they're good.
Okay. Oh, and
Do you
if
have
you,
merch? Do you have merch?
I do
We
have,
have water bottles.
I do, I have sweatshirts, t-shirts, water bottles, all kinds of things. If you come, I've got a few of them. I'll give away tonight. I'll drop the merch link in the video in the description as well. My neurodivergent part of my different brain. I've always been an emotional person. Part of my new brain just likes to cry all the time, and even when I'm trying not to, it'll be like, "Girl." Um, so I have to pause, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. But thank y'all immensely. I will see y'all in the community. Thank you to everybody who has joined in the chat, who joins on Sundays. I appreciate you all. Y'all can stay online here. Y'all don't disconnect yet. And I am going to have a conversation. Thank y'all for showing up. I hope everybody has. We will talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.